Now, with all this advice that you're giving as far as for the wrestlers and what to do, what about the other roles, like whether it's the referee, the manager, the commentator, the ring announcer, and
All
like, are
applies.
they all the same?
Yeah, it all applies. Because it's funny you bring that up, because when I hear people say, "Wow, wrestling's changed. It's changed," and I go, "Oh, you really believe that?" And they go, "Yeah." And because listen, I'm a very reasonable person, okay, and I become very logical. I become very analytical, and as long as you can explain something to me with facts, not well just cause. I don't, I don't, that don't work for me, okay? Because I'm going to do the same for you. If you notice, everything we have talked about, and every opinion I've made or whatever I've stated,
Mhm.
I've given you an explanation as to
Yeah.
why I think or feel that way, okay? And so all I ask is you do the same, okay? So when I want to explain, when the wrestler, the performer, because we don't have any workers in the business anymore, when we have the performer tell you, "Oh, the wrestling business has changed," what they're really saying, and I've had them admit this, what they've really saying is that the audience no longer pays to buy in, to believe the illusion of who you are and why you're doing it. They are buying in, want to believe, they want to buy into what you do. All they care about is your athleticism and if you can really do cool moves. Okay, which is fine with me. I think the more athletic you are, the better you can, some of these things that you can do that are incredible. You just have to know when and why to do them to elicit an emotional response. When they say that, and they've convinced themselves, I ask them 4 questions, and I've yet to get an answer, and that is very simply, if what you say is true, that an audience no longer buys a ticket or watches you on TV to really buy into those 2 concepts, that it's really about wins and losses and competitively performing, doing things that psychologically if it were real, not meaning to shoot, but if you'd actually throw people into the ropes and you'd come off the top rope and, in this world, you dive through the ropes attempting to do something to an opponent, right?
Hmm.
If it were real, okay, which you're saying that the audience doesn't buy into anymore. It's changed. It's different. I get that. But if that's the case, then number one, why am I paying a ring announcer and commentators to create verbally the illusion that this is a competitive situation and that the wins and losses have gravity? Because the only consequence to anything you physically do in the ring is that you could possibly beat the other person, not beat them up, but that
Mm.
you could beat them, that you could win. That's gotten misplaced. That's gotten misunderstood. Storylines and all of that. That's only to add gravity, personal consequence to the win and loss. That's it. It's to you know at no point in time, like if I came over and I kicked your mother and punched your dog and shoved your girlfriend down the steps into the basement. I did all those horrendous things. As a professional wrestler, you want to kick my ass, but you also want to beat me so that you prove you're the better man. So it all comes down to winning and trying not to lose. So one, why am I investing the time and money and effort into paying commentators to basically sit there and call your match as if it's a sporting event when you aren't performing in the ring as if it is? Why am I
Right.
wasting the money to pay them? Two, why am I paying a referee to even go out in the ring with you? If what you say is true, how does that make sense for me to pay a referee to be in the ring and treat this as if it's a competitive combat sport where there are rules and regulations, much like there are in UFC and boxing, but that you totally ignore for the sake of being able to do your next big move? How does that make sense? And why am I wasting the money to pay that referee?
Hmm.
If what you say is true, it's changed, then why do I pay the referee? Why don't I just send the two of you out there? You guys do your stuff, and then you take a bow at the end, which I've seen modern day performers actually do, and
Yeah.
then get together, shake a hand, and take a bow like they've just performed a play.
How does that make you feel whenever you see that?
It's insulting.
Hmm.
It's insulting to the audience. You just got us, you asked us to buy, to believe and care in the fact that we wanted to really see one person win or not lose. And then you just all came together and went, nah, like, remember, I'm sawing a woman in half. Hey guys, don't worry. She's really up here. I got this other chick down here with her feet out here. Everybody's fine. It'll be okay. That's what they're doing. You know what I mean? It's insulting. Question 3. Why again am I wasting money buying championship belts, which aren't cheap?
No, they're not.
Believe me, they're expensive. Why am I wasting time to buy a heavyweight belt that there's a ranking system of wins and losses that allow you to be a contender for that belt, that shows you're at the top of the mountain, a competitive mountain that you're now telling me the audience doesn't care about? Why am I wasting that money? It makes no sense to me. Why do you care that you get one of those championship belts when you just tell me that the audience doesn't buy into and believe in that anyways? None of this makes any sense to me. And if somebody can explain it to me and give me an answer, I'll be all for it. But until you can connect the dots for me, I'm going to continue to hold my present concept and opinion. Question 4, biggest one. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
I have yet to get an answer for this one. Now, keep in mind, what you tell me you truly feel, you believe as a performer, wins and losses, and that they don't, the audience, it's changed, it's different. I'll accept that. Then why is it that you get the boo-boo face when I ask you to lose?
That's amazing. And you're 100% right.
Why do you get the, you try not to show it, but you get sullen and you walk around? I know your body language, and I've been you. I've been one of those guys. They're burying me, man. They're burying me. They don't know. It's a glass ceiling. If they just do this with me, I'd be a star. They're holding me back. Brother, shut up. Ain't nobody holding you back. You go through the curtain, it's 100% your responsibility to sell yourself and get yourself over. Yeah, there's politics. And there are. I'm not going to lie. It's a very competitive business. But you can still go out there and successfully sell yourself and why you're doing it, but you're not. You're choosing to sell what you do. And I've yet to get an answer, a logical. Nobody's even attempted to answer those questions for me, because in a business common sense way, why am I spending money on commentators? Why am I spending money on a referee? And why am I spending money on title belts if the concept that you're saying has so drastically changed? I could save a ton of production money, a ton. There's no reason for me to run a show with a referee ever, because you don't adhere to or treat or try to portray that this person has any authority in the ring whatsoever. Because according to you, it's different. It's changed. It's no longer what it was. And I'm not one of those guys. Let's make something absolutely clear, because and I'll make this clear too. I want everyone to understand 2 things about me. 1, I am responsible 100% for everything I say, but I am in no way responsible for your understanding of what it is I've said. Period. And if you don't like it, then have a debate with me, argue with me. Okay, have a friendly conversation, but don't sit there and, well, he's wrong. You have no clue. You don't have a concept or an understanding of what I'm saying. So therefore, it threatens you, and you now get defensive, and you try to deflect. Okay, I am responsible for what I say. I'm not responsible for what you take and how you understand it. Also, if I'm wrong, prove me, show me. If you come to OVW as a performer, because that's all you are, you're not a worker, and I'll explain that if you'd like me to. And I have a reason. I can tell you, and you can try to say what you say, but you just told me it's changed. So you're not a worker, you're a performer or a wrestler. Okay? You come and you can ask, you can have anybody that's ever worked with me, when I worked with all the WWE guys, all the Impact people, and now all the people I have now. You'll never hear me say you can't go and do something. You'll never hear me say don't do that move. You'll never hear me say, oh, you can't wrestle like that. I don't care how you wrestle. All I care is will people pay to see it? That's it. And if you can't motivate people to pay to see you, that's your fault. I know you want to tell yourself, oh, you want to point fingers at everybody else. But if you're at an independent show and it's a building that seats 400 people and ain't nobody, and you're selling you're selling 100 tickets to see the whole show, how in the world, what is it that's in your back pocket that you're not doing there to fill that building? Okay. That
Yeah.
you now magically are going to do in WWE, because you can't motivate people to pay to see you for a $10 ticket, but and fill a 400 seat building. But now you're telling me you can go to an arena and sell at $35 and up, and you'll fill a 15,000 seat building. That don't make any bit of sense. Oh, well, it's the promoter's fault. Brother, please. Your job is to motivate. The promoter's job is to give you a platform and to make people know you're aware, that make aware as much as they can within a budget that you're there. Your job is then to give them a reason to want to come back in greater numbers. You ain't doing that. That's on you. I suffered from the same delusions, pointed the finger and had a bad attitude for years until I finally smartened up. And that was long, and that was when I was still in the ring. Because you're all going to tell yourselves, well, that's because he's now a promoter and he's the office. And shut up. Oh, it's different now. Brother, everything you are experiencing, I experienced and went through. I made all the same mistakes. And you can benefit from that experience or you choose not to. You know, the wonderful thing about advice is if you're smart enough, I don't need to tell you. If you're dumb enough, you ain't going to listen.
Hmm. Man, I really, really hope that so many young performers watch this because
They will, and
the
then they'll just get pissed off and they'll shut it off halfway. And
don't
they'll
say that.
they will. It's the truth. I deal with it in OVW. I give you here's my advice for all you nimrods out there right now with social media and all that. And you're it's the internet's fault, it's social media's fault. No, it's your fault how you use it. Back to our conversation about kayfabe.
Yeah.
To my point, they don't listen. I'm telling you, Josh, they don't. I stand in front of the guys in OVW. And when I first took over, I said, guys, here's what I'd ask you to do. I said, create 2 social media accounts for Facebook, Instagram, Skype, whatever you're going to use. Create 2. Make one private and be you. Be that person, but only your friends and family can view that. Okay? Make one for the general public and be the person that you've sold on TV. Now, here's how oxymoronic, dichotomous. I don't even know if the oxymoronic's a real word, but here's how ridiculous that this conversation is. That the minute I say it, everybody goes, "Oh, he's so old school, and he don't know, and he's just bitter, and he's a promoter now." Ah. Okay, but now, how many of you that may be listening and have held through to this point in the conversation, how many of you lauded applause and praise on Matt Hardy that he was such an incredible genius because all he did was never break character on social media? And it was brand new. Oh my God, he's reinvented the wheel. What do you think we've always been doing in wrestling? Nikita Koloff was so committed that when he came into the Carolinas, he hired a guy to walk around with him to act like he was his interpreter and he couldn't speak English. So when he could buy a house, buy a car, things like that. I can't even get you to make another social media account to protect the integrity of what you've sold. But Matt Hardy does it. Oh my God, this guy's brilliant. MJF doesn't break character. Same guy, appearances, social media, etc. Correct?
Yeah.
He's brilliant. He's so smart. Oh my God. But I say, do exactly what they're doing, and somehow I'm a lunatic. You people are morons. You really are.
People watching this, please don't be morons. Listen to Al. He he
And
he
I'm
he kind
trust.
of knows what he's talking about.
He doesn't know. What's he know? You're right. I've only done it for 38 years. I've made all my mistakes. I'll be the first one to own up to every mistake I've made. And I've made yours more than you will ever get the opportunity to make. I promise you. And you just still want to blind yourself with this hypocritical viewpoint. And you want to rag on people like myself or Jim Cornette or people that are passionate about and actually care about and want to see you succeed. But you think, you'd rather we whore ourselves out and basically stroke you off and tell you what you want to hear, and when we don't, and it doesn't jive, and you can't give us a logical argument um, about it, then you get upset and you just give us the, he's bitter. He's on the other side of the fence, or, you know, just stop, guys. I'm just trying to help you because you all claim you want to do this for a living and nothing else. But the fact of the matter is you don't, you know. I love people that tell me they hate their jobs because that's not true. You do. You love your job. It's a fact. And the reason you love it is because you have this false sense of security in it. That's why you show up every day and you go through the same mundane approach and do it because you don't have to produce. All you got to do is show up. Just put your time in, make your money. You get the same check every week, every 2 weeks. If you do something like this, you only get paid for what you produce, what you can motivate an audience to come to see you. That's your value. You're not in, that's another blows my mind is that I love these conversations that these young guys come up with, these young guys and girls. Well, I'm what do you call the word? Entitled. I'm entitled to get paid. No, you're not. There is no form of entertainment, none, that where you're entitled to get paid. It all is in direct relationship. Your value is in direct relationship to how many people will be motivated to want to pay to see you perform. Your name on a poster of some form of advertising, how many people will come in and go, that person's on this movie, that person's playing in this band, that person is wrestling, that person's boxing, that guy's MMA. I am going to buy a ticket and watch them. That dictates your value. If nobody will pay to see you, guess what you're worth? Period. I've told this story 100 times, Josh. My daughter, even against all better advice, and great guy, I tell all the girls I train, to all the guys, don't date each other. We're all broken people. They don't listen. Same thing. Smart enough, don't need to tell you. Dumb enough, they don't listen. It's not like I haven't been there, haven't dated in the business, and it went horribly wrong. You know what I mean? It's not gonna go. Okay. I mean, so you try, but it's a very incestuous business, anyways. So my daughter dated a young guy, was a wrestler, great kid, asked me for my advice. Okay. Goes, hey, this promoter wants to book me. I go, great. He goes, yeah, but we got a problem. I go, what's the problem? He goes, well, he told me that he starts everybody out at $40, coming in, and until they work, they work and they make themselves a draw. And I said, oh, well, that's pretty good. He goes, I don't think so, man. I said, you don't? He goes, yeah. He said, I told him I needed at least 50. I go, you did? He goes, yeah, because I gotta like pay for gas and I'm good. I go, what's your question? He goes, well, did I do the right thing? I go, hell no, you didn't do the right thing.
No.
He goes, why? I go, hold on. If I take your name, just your name, and put it on, let's be honest, be truly honest with yourself, not with me. I don't care. I know when you're lying anyways, but you can lie to you all you want. That's fine. We'll play the game. I'm not going to argue with you, but let's be honest. I put your name, just your name, on a poster. Nobody else, just you. How many tickets, when people walk into a convenience store and see that poster and see your name, how many $10 tickets do you think you're going to sell me? He goes, well, probably none. I go, yeah, none. I said, so let me get this straight. You know for a fact your name ain't going to sell one single ticket. Ain't nobody going to walk into that store, see your name, and go, oh my God, he's here. I got to go watch him. I said, nobody. He goes, yeah. I go, okay. So you asked for, he offered you 4 tickets of value when you couldn't sell him one. But you're asking for 5 when you still can't even sell him one. And you turned down the offer of 4 because you didn't think it was good enough, even though you can't give him anything on that return for that investment in any way. Do you think that makes sense? He goes, well, when you put it that way, I go, well, there ain't no other way to put it. That's how it works. And not only do you really, if you want $40, you really need to be able to sell not 4 tickets, you got to be able to sell 7, because I also have to pay for the building, rent, I have to pay insurance, potentially a ring rental. So in order for us both to make some kind of money, or for me to stay in business, you got to sell me 7 tickets to get 4. And he goes, oh, well, it sounds like I made a mistake. I go, well, yeah, no shit, you did. And I got to tell everyone out there, you're not entitled to anything. After 38 years, I'm not entitled to anything. I'm not entitled to respect. I'm not entitled to a spot on the card. You know what I mean? I'm not entitled to, I am only entitled to what I have to work and earn everything I get, just like everybody else. So, I love it when these guys go, oh, my price, I don't leave the house for. Well, you know what I tell you? You're not going to leave the house much then. Stay home. Just stay home. You don't want to take and make something of yourself. You don't want the opportunity. You don't want to, then stay home. I don't care. Because the amazing thing is I can go find somebody else that can do exactly the same moves as you. And they're not going to sell me any tickets either. They can do your high spots. They can do because you all do that stupid formulatic approach, 7-step paint by numbers match now. I can go find people to do that. And the same number of people will pay to see them as they paid to see you. And if they'll do it for less money, why would I want to pay you more? Because you're not going to sell me any more tickets. Yeah. So, but, Al, you're just bitter and you're hateful and you're, because you couldn't do it in the day. And shut up. I'm just telling you quite honestly, this was what I was taught when I was broken in 1982, and it still holds true now to 2020. It's never changed, guys. You've not reinvented the wheel. It's not octagonal or hexagonal or decahedron or whatever you want to call it. It's just not. It's still just round.
Oh man, this Al, this has been absolutely fantastic. We need to start wrapping it up, but I want to make sure we at least brought up collar and elbow. Make sure we bring it up. The last time that you and I spoke, we did an interview on AfterBuzz TV a few years ago. Was right when collar and elbow was just really starting.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, it's a few years in. How do you feel it's been going? It's been going, and also with everything going on right now.
It's been going great. It really has. It's just that we're at a point, like with every company, where you grow, and then you got to go to the next level. Like you got to reach out and try to expand and try to expand your market and your audience. And we're working on trying to do that. But it still holds true. Why we started it in the first place and why we still do it, and that is we wanted a wrestling brand for wrestling fans, and try to, like the design you have or like I have, I mean, this one's a little more obvious, you know what I mean? But we have a lot of, different designs that we try to do that, like, you as a wrestling fan you understand, like if somebody saw that shirt, they get it, they'd understand it, they'd know what it's about. But if you weren't a wrestling fan and you were wearing it around non-wrestling fans, you wouldn't have to deal with, oh, you like wrestling, that's fake. And you're like, well, congratulations, Angela Lansbury. How long did it take for you to put those clues together and, solve that mystery?
Right.
We also know that, magic's fake, but Chris Angel still is performing in the Luxor in Las Vegas and had a national television show. You know what I mean? It's not we also, I hope that you realize that Spider-Man, that did God knows how many amounts of money, or the Avengers, were not documentaries. Spider-Man was not a real person who shot jizz out of his wrist and stuck to a wall.
What?
I know.
Now you're just lying, Al. Come
I
on.
know. Just Wakanda is not a real country in Africa, guys. I'm sorry. I love this. Doesn't really exist. You can look on any map. It's not there. And I know you're thinking that's because they're so technologically advanced, thanks to the vibranium and all of it. I get that. That's the gimmick, but it's not really there. You know, it's not there, man. I'm telling you, it's not. So, um, but collar and elbow, we tried to create that, um, so that wrestling fans would have something cool and something different, kind of like tap out used to be for MMA. We're trying to make that for professional wrestling and wrestling in general. For judo, jujitsu, for freestyle, for catch wrestling, for it all starts to some degree with some kind of collar and elbow tie up to a degree. And even though that was an Irish style of wrestling, um, but we still applies. So. And we try to use really high quality t-shirts, the kind that, like that,
Yeah.
that one t-shirt you like that is in your drawer that you've worn for years. And it just, when you'll never get rid of it because it just feels so good when you put it on. Those are the ones that we try to get. So that right out of the gate, you like wearing them. So.
Oh, definitely, and I do, and I'm not just saying that because I'm looking at you on my computer right now. I really enjoy these shirts. They are very comfortable. You guys always have great sales going on at collarandelbowbrand.com,
Yeah.
and of course, again, Ohio Valley Wrestling.
Yep.
What anything that you think you can promote? Obviously, I know at the
A
moment
lot.
there are no live shows right now, but what can you
Oh
promote?
God, no, we've got a
Yeah,
lot in the going on almost 2 years since I bought the company. It took us a year, but as far as the schooling part of things, we are the only in the world. We're the only uh, actually accredited by the state Office of Education.
hmm
Uh, we are an actually a state accredited trade school for professional wrestling, sports entertainment, and broadcasting. So we have a 2-year program, and I really think that it's important. We don't just teach the in-ring skills. We teach camera operation, lighting, sound, event management, TV producing, TV editing, writing. We teach financial management, all aspects, so that because it's not a matter of if at some point your career is going to come to an end in the ring, it's going to be when. And hopefully we're giving these young men and women skills that, either through time and attrition or through injury, if their career comes to an end in the ring, they can still be a viable part of sports entertainment or entertainment in general or TV broadcasting or professional wrestling, because they've garnered a lot of these skills that allow them to uh, continue to have a career. We've got two great examples of that. I always, Tommaso Ciampa's wife, Jessie Lynn Whitney, I always use her as a great example of this. She came in Tough Enough 2 as a competitor. She got cut. She, on her own, came back as a intern with MTV for Tough Enough 3. She got hired by WWE as a backstage producer, spent a couple of years doing that, and then she went on to have a career as a television producer for CBS, ABC, NBC, Fox. I mean, she's had an amazing career because she learned those skills. And then a guy by the name of James Long came to OVW years ago as when I was first here with WWE, came as a in-ring uh, performer. Spent several years doing that, but then became self-taught, lighting, sound, editing. Went on to be hired by Impact Wrestling as part of their production crew, and then now works for NXT as one of their major, with WWE as one of their major television producers. Has an amazing career because he took the time to teach himself. So if we can take and right out of the gate teach these young men and women those skills, then they gives them alternatives and gives them options and gives them possibilities for other careers within professional wrestling or entertainment. And then the second thing is that just 2 weeks ago we went on a national platform with OVW TV, with OVW Wrestling on the YTA network. We're in about 44 million homes if you count their streaming network. We're also with Binge TV, which gives us our own Roku channel, and we're on Apple TV and Amazon Fire on the Binge TV, and that puts us into, I think, a little over 52 million homes nationally. So we are on almost nearly 1,100 consecutive episodes of television. And one of the things we pride ourselves on is in OVW, I try to give as much of a complete experience as possible. So on Tuesday nights, which before the whole COVID-19 quarantine, and once it's ended, we'll be back at it. We produce a live local television broadcast show at 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights. And we do it live. And the reason that I wanted to do it live was because as a performer or a production person, if you don't get that opportunity to perform live, it's a whole different animal learning how to properly perform live on television than it is if you do a post-produced show. And let's face it, the only other two companies that do that are AEW and WWE. If you get an opportunity as a performer or even a production person to get there to WWE or AEW, they're going to literally just throw you in the deep end of the water, and it's sink or swim. You want as much experience as you can doing something like that, maybe on a smaller level, but still the exact same process as what those two companies do, so that when you have that opportunity, you can capitalize on it as much as possible, because you're not going in there blind, you're going in there experienced. So that was why I made it a point to switch the format of our television show up to a live television show. And then we re-air that nationally on Friday nights on the YTA network. And then we also have a second show it's a post-produced show. It's OVW Overdrive. And we do that on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock. It's much like the old WWF Superstars.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then further into the year, once we get back up and really going, I'm going to create a third show that will air Saturday nights at 9 o'clock locally. And all of these you can find on YouTube as well at OVW. But we're going to, it's like the old Tuesday Night Titans format. The old, Vince used to do primetime wrestling, and it was the old sit down, like Johnny Carson's Tonight Show type of show.
Yeah, I love that.
We're going to start to produce that, because that way, once we have enough of a student, which will garner as we grow a student body, students won't just have a education and an experience of producing a live wrestling television show, which is unique unto itself. They'll also get the experience of an opportunity to produce a post-produced television show with OVW Overdrive, and then they'll be able to produce and be a part of a format that's all like a television interview type of show that's completely different than the other two. So to give them as much of a broad range of experiences and lessons that they can possibly get, both as a in-ring performer and as a backstage part of the production. And we're really excited about it. If people have questions or want any more information, they can go to ovwrestling.com, or they can go to aswa.live, which is the Al Snow Wrestling Academy. So, we're doing a lot here, and we're doing it in different and unique ways. And we're trying to, as much as I stay in the past as far as the ideas of what we're selling and why we're selling it, I'm more than open to taking new directions and new ways to sell it. I have no issue with that at all.
Oh yeah, make sure everyone that's watching this, check out ovwrestling.com, look up the Al Snow Wrestling Academy, collarandelbowbrand.com, the real Al Snow on Twitter. The man is taking charge of everything. Please, if you know anyone that is working in the pro wrestling business in any role, or someone aspiring to be, show them this video and make them listen to Al. Don't tell them to tune out halfway, because you can't get more truth than from someone who's been there for as long as Al has. So Al, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to hang out with me today.
Oh, thank you.
Again, please, you can follow me on Twitter at Josh_Tariff. Of course, Al at The Real Al Snow. Like, share, subscribe to this video. Al, thank you so much, and we will see you all next time.
Thank you.